Hey everybody, what's up? Mike here. Just wanted to make a quick video about something that I needed to do that I couldn't find a video online on how to do it. So I decided to make one. So as this is the first time I'm recording on my workbench, please forgive some minor video issues. Originally I was recording in 1080p and my laptop did not like that at all. So anyways, recorded at 720p, so I'm hoping the majority of the shots are good. But this is a video for a front mount distributor for an 8N tractor and switching it out to electronic ignition. Now, some of the stuff you'll need is the parts kit for this, and I'll make sure to give you the part number at the end of the video, and put a link to the part in the description. I just accidentally lost the part number sheet. So anyways, you'll need some screwdrivers, some pliers, possibly a small screwdriver flathead like this for some cleaning in case your distributor, like mine, had lots of corrosion in it. A small ratchet and socket set would be really helpful. The sizes I'm using are a 3/8 and a 5/16. Also, you'll want one of these. This is actually an 11/16 socket with an extension, and that's only if you're replacing the bushing inside the distributor housing. I found that this fits that hole perfectly, as well as putting the new one in. Worked like a champ. You also need a small negotiation device, also known as a hammer, some wire crimpers, preferably some that have the insulated crimper on it, as you will need to put the ends on the wires after you feed them through. Don't do that up front. You do have to feed those wires through this tiny little hole, so make sure to wait on that. And I believe that's about it. This is not a sponsored video, so everything you hear me say is going to be my opinion. It's very late at night already. It's 10:22. I unfortunately work a day job, so I can't do all these fun videos for you guys all the time, although I'd love to. But anyway, we digress. So let's get started. If you have questions or comments, leave them in the description or in the comment section below. I'll put a link to this kit in the description. I purchased this from Yesterday's Tractors. There's a lot of other places you can get it, but that's just the place I got it from. And make sure you order it for your distributor. I accidentally ordered the side mount distributor kit, not paying attention. So before you go out and order this, make sure you get the right kit. If you have a question, definitely call or email and make sure you tell them what model your tractor is, and if you have a front or side mount distributor. So with that, I will kick into all of the pieces of videos I've pre-recorded. So like I said, there's a couple of issues with some audio I'll probably have to dub over, so I do apologize for that in the very beginning of this. This was kind of a unplanned video, so unscripted, if you will. So hopefully this helps you guys, helps somebody out there who happens to have the same tractor and is thinking about doing this. It's a very, very simple upgrade, as long as you're slightly mechanically inclined. Again, I'm not a mechanic by trade. This was a very, very simple project to help improve the reliability of the tractor. So without further ado, here we go. Alright, we are back. That was pretty nasty. Use some super clean or purple stuff, whatever you want to call it. Got the majority of the corrosion out of there. Looks much better. Actually had to scrape some out with a small screwdriver and clean these up pretty good. There was definitely some water that got in here and stayed. In fact, I don't know if you guys will be able to see this. Quite a bit of surface rust on these parts here. There's actually still a little bit of cleaner on them. So, and sorry if the video switches on the resolution. I actually had some audio issues. I'm probably going to have to overdub audio over what I've already recorded. So, you can see that water stood in this thing for a while. Hopefully this won't affect the functioning of that. Those magnets seem to still seems like they still are good. So don't forget to take your condenser off. Almost forgot that. So now I ordered a replacement bushing for the rear. Fun part is getting that one out. So there's a bushing in here that is very close. We're going to replace it anyway. While we've got this whole thing apart, we might as well. So I'm going to go get this bushing out, and I'll be right back. All I used was an 11/16 socket. It's a perfect fit. 11/16 socket. So I am going to use the same method and put this back in there. Alright. Here we go. Oh, that's much tighter. Yeah, we'll need to throw some oil on that before we put it back on. Alright. Now we get to read instructions. By the way, very little pictures on this, so make sure you read. So, alright. And I had already purchased another one of these bearings, but obviously that is not needed with this kit, which is awesome. There we go. Yeah, that's much better. Much better. Alright. This really, I don't know if you can see this, really funky looking screw that looks like half of it broke off actually goes through your timing hole here, which it appears on my distributor I'm missing the timing plate. I'm also missing a nut, so I'm going to have to make do with a donor part. Hold please. Alright, we're back. In case you're wondering, with this Pertronics kit, this bolt is actually a 1032. I had to go find a washer and a nut. So we had to borrow some parts there. So, on with the program. Alright. almost messed up. You'll need to install this magnet on the shaft. It looks like there's flattened sides to it. Alright, that went back together nicely. Alright, so that magnet goes on the shaft. There's only one way it'll go on. It's got some squared off sides to it. And we'll need to put this bolt back through on the timing side. You guys can see what I'm talking about with the wear on this. So, put a washer here. Our borrowed nut. There we go. Alright, now we can install the ignition module. This wire wants to bend the wrong way. There we go. And I'm assuming these nuts with the little teeth on them fit this shaft here. And here. See if this is the right size. Yep. Cool. In case you're wondering, I'm using a 5/16 socket here. If you have something that's small in your arsenal, I recommend getting it out because this is kind of tricky to get to down in there. And these just need to be tight enough that it's not going to go anywhere. You don't need to over tighten it. You don't want to strip these screws out because they are not grade 8. They look like standard grade screws here. Alright, so at this point we've installed the breaker plate, the magnet, and the ignition module. Sorry, I'm looking at the screen backwards here. So let's get our spring back in here. Where'd my little screwdriver go? There it is. Again, that breaker plate wanted to sit just a little bit cockeyed. It's still sitting just a hair off. I need to loosen this puppy up. Just give it a light tap here. And there it goes. Now we're snapped in. Alright. you definitely want to make sure that spring gets back in those grooves really snugly, because you don't want this plate coming loose. That would not be fun. You'd probably have to find you another distributor housing. Start this whole thing over again. There we go. Now we'll just need to route these wires up and out. I'm actually going underneath the spring there. You'll want to do the same. Just like so. Just like the picture. And it looks like at this point, this is saying there's a shim washer. No, I'm not seeing. Use that. Actually, wires. We're going to go through here. Hey, you know what? Just found the, yeah, that's the washer we needed. Let's install that one since it's got teeth on it. Yep, that's the money. Alright, so this is now your top plate. There's not going to be a coil on top of this kit anymore. The coil is actually going to mount off to the side. I'll show you what that looks like in just a second. That actually looks like a circuit board. Alright. Thread your wires through this. Bring the rubber grommet through. Almost. Interestingly, there's not a gasket for this. Just kind of a heads up there, guys. And it looks like, let's see. Trying to line this up. There's a hole that this screw is supposed to thread right into. Oh, sorry about that. Alright, let's start over. So, we've threaded our wires up through this top hole. We fed our grommet into this. Now we're taking a lockdown screw and attempting to get it into there it goes. Alright, now one side note that I'm noticing here, you don't want to tighten this too tightly because this is fairly brittle seeming. I imagine it would crack pretty easily. So definitely don't want to over tighten that. And from your original distributor, or you may want to buy a replacement, you'll need to keep your rotator. Alright, make sure I have got all these internal components here good to go. Now we'll get our new distributor cap. You'll notice there's a threaded terminal here. This is going to line up. We actually need to loosen this just a hair. That's going to line up with this piece here. Now this piece actually has a spark plug looking wire that goes over to the coil. I'll show you that in just a second. Get that started, line this up, put our clips back on, tighten this up and this so that we get it leveled up here. And again, you don't want to tighten this too hard because, like I said, this is almost like a really thick circuit board. You don't want to tighten it too tight. You may wind up damaging it. Just to get a good seal on those fiber washers. There we go. Nice and snug. Cool deal. So that's that part. Now, your old coil, you're not going to use this because you ripped out all the components that these would make contact with. So you can set that to the side. What comes with this kit is this, along with a mounting bracket. So this is going to go elsewhere. What's going to go on here, you'll notice on the top, see if I can get this in the video, there's a plus and a minus. Your minus, or your negative, when you hook all this back up, is going to be your black wire. Your red wire goes to your positive side, along with the original wire that attached to your coil up here. So let me say that again. The black wire will go to your negative side, red wire to the positive, and along with the positive side you will take the original wire that went to the top of your old coil and wire it here. And then there's a wire in this kit that is a spark plug looking wire. One side has a 90, one side is straight. Your 90 is actually going to go on the distributor side, because what's going to happen, because this is a front mount, your belt's pretty close to these wires, actually on the side towards me, and there's not a lot of clearance, so you'll want to put it on this way. So as you're looking at the front of the tractor, this will be your left side, depending on what you've got going on. If you mount it on that side, if you come off the other side, just keep in mind that that belt, at least on mine with alternator conversion, is very close to this distributor housing, so you'll want to make sure to keep that in mind when you're running your wires. So that being said, hopefully this helps some of you guys. I'm probably going to have to dub over the audio on some of this. Unfortunately, the microphone didn't work well through some of this, so if something's not clear, definitely hit me up in the comments. I didn't see a whole lot of videos going through this process very thoroughly, or for this kit. This kit, and this is not a sponsored video, I actually got this kit from yesterday's tractors. That's the part number 1247XT, and that's the complete kit for your front mount distributor. Make sure you order the correct kit for your particular model. I accidentally ordered a side mount distributor kit to begin with, but thankfully they were nice enough to return that, no questions asked, and I got this one, which is in fact correct. So before I forget and go and put this on tomorrow, since it's already dark outside, I'm going to put the rear gasket back on this, which, by the way, there's a gasket kit you can buy. I bought this before realizing I was going to swap it out to electronic ignition, so I've got extra gaskets. Hooray! There we go. All ready to be installed. There you go, guys. So hopefully this helps somebody. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. Now keep in mind, I am by no means a master mechanic. I am somewhat versed on fixing some tractors here and there and basic mechanics, but as far as doing this is the first time I've ever done this. Thankfully, it's fairly straightforward. Not a whole lot to really mess up. In case you're wondering what your spare parts are going to be, your old breaker plate, bushing if you decide to replace that, your condenser, and maybe your timing screw, depending on what you had going on there. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. There's probably going to be a lot more videos on this Ford tractor, so I'll keep you posted and let you know what happens.